points of x comma y in z plane, you will get one curve. For these set of points, we got some other set in W plane. There also we'll get one other curve. That means corresponding to each curve. Here once you see the Z plane diagram, here C1, C2, two curves are there. For each curve, that means how can we get curve? By connecting or by joining the points. That means for each point in Z plane, we are getting some other set of points in W plane. That means for that set of points, if we draw a diagram, we will get one curve like C1. To this C1, correspondingly, we will get another transformation curve, that is C1 dash. So to each curve in Z plane, with the help of transformation f of z, w is equal to f of z, we will get another curve, say C1 dash in W plane. Suppose if we have C2 curve in Z plane, to this C2 curve under the transformation w is equal to f of z, we will get some other curve C2 dash. That means we transformed the C1, C2 curves into C1 dash, C2 dash curves in W plane. Now, some transformation happened. For the diagram in Z plane, we got some other diagram in W plane. Now, some transformation happened here. To say this transformation is conformal transformation, we need some conditions. It must be satisfied two conditions. One is the transformation must preserve magnitude. Magnitude means value, and also sense. Sense means direction. It does not change its direction and it does not change its value, magnitude value, when you transform one figure or one curve to another figure or another curve. Then only we say that transformation is called conformal transformation. So once you recall the transformation, when do we say one transformation is conformal? So when the transformation preserves, holds its magnitude and sense, then we say that transformation is called conformal transformation. Suppose when you transform one diagram or one figure to another diagram with the help of mapping W is equal to f of z, if its magnitude of the angle is z, then the transformation is called isogonal transformation. Here we don't think about sense. Okay, we will see only magnitude. Magnitude means magnitude of the angle. Once you check the diagram here, theta. So between these two curves, we have a theta. In the transformed plane, in W also we have one angle, that is theta dash. If the angle magnitude, theta magnitude and theta dash magnitude are same, and also sense, it is rotating positive direction. In transformed plane also theta dash is rotating in positive direction. That means here direction does not change. Direction does not change. So this transformation is called conformal transformation. Sometimes theta value same, magnitude value same, but direction will be in opposite. In that case, we say that transformation is isogonal transformation. Okay. Any doubts, ma? I'm going to another important property. Once you check the conditions of conformal transformation, what are the conditions? The angle, magnitude and sense must be same. it is always difficult to calculate angle and also its magnitude and sense. That's why, based on one property, we can easily say the transformation is either conformal transformation or not. That basic property is, if W is equal to f of z is an analytic function of z in a region of the z plane. That means W is equal to f of z is an analytic function. Then to say this W is equal to f of z is conformal if f dash of z, that means the derivative of f of z, not equal to 0. What is the properties to say the transformation W is equal to f of z is conformal? That property is f dash of z not equal to 0. Remember this property. Yes, okay. Next, bilinear transformation. So we have some fixed transformations. One is bilinear transformation. Another one is W is equal to z square. W is equal to e power z. W is equal to z plus 1 by z. We have four transformations in this conformal transformation. We need to study about these four transformations. Before starting this bilinear transformation, I will tell you one important thing to study about this conformal transformation. My question is, why should we study this conformal transformation? The major importance of this conformal transformation is, we are sending some satellite to the space for capturing photos and all in the particular area, whether it is moon or some other planet. It will capture lakhs of photos and then it will send to us. Sometimes we unable to see the clarity of the picture. We need to rotate without changing its structure and its sense. In that case, we need some transformation. Okay, we are not captured through our mobile to rotate in our mobile. Understood? Of course, some basic things are there to rotate in the computer system, but with the help of these mappings or transformations, what I said, the transformations are W is equal to z square, W is equal to e power z, W is equal to z plus 1 by z, and the bilinear transformation. Using these transformations, we can easily rotate all the lakhs of photos at once, and then we can rotate that lakhs of pictures according to our angle. So that is the major importance of studying this conformal transformation. Okay, that is application of this conformal transformation. So, but first let me know the alphabets in conformal transformation. Alphabets are nothing but knowing the transformations. What is W is equal to Z square transformation? What does it do? And what is bilinear transformation? What does it do? And what is W is equal to e power Z? What does it do? So these and all we learn in this chapter. So first let me start bilinear transformation. It has the fixed structure, that is the transformation W is equal to AZ plus B by CZ plus D. What is the transformation here? We assumed W is equal to AZ plus B by CZ plus D. Here A, B, C and D are real or complex constants. These A, B, C, D are real constants or complex constants. And one more condition is AD minus BC not equal to 0. So the transformation W is equal to AZ plus B by CZ plus D, and AD minus BC not equal to 0 is called bilinear transformation. It is called bilinear transformation. So remember this. This is very important transformation. Surely we will get one problem under this transformation. You will get 6 marks or 7 marks using this bilinear transformation. This is very important transformation. So what is the transformation, Ra? It is always will be in the same form. W is equal to AZ plus B by CZ plus D. Here A, B, C, D are unknown constant. We should find those constants to get this transformation. And also AD minus BC is not equal to 0. This transformation is called bilinear transformation. And also it has some other name, that is Mobius transformation. That is Mobius transformation. Now, when do we say this bilinear transformation is conformal? What is the property it should satisfy so that this transformation is conformal transformation? This is one transformation. This is mediator. This is like satellite. Okay. So to say this is conformal, here we have some explanation. Once you look into it, that is, take W is equal to hello, hello, hello everyone. Is it audible to you now? Once you post the message, ma? Okay. Yes. Now, to say the conformal transformation, W is equal to AZ plus B by CZ plus D. That means to say the bilinear transformation, W is equal to AZ plus B by CZ plus D is conformal. We are taking some procedure, that is find derivative dw by dz is equal to d by dz of w. W is az plus b by cz plus d. That is equal to, it is like differentiation of u by v form. That formula is v du minus u dv by v square. So v is cz plus d. Differentiation of numerator, that is coefficient of z a, minus denominator, that means denominator derivative, that is c into numerator az plus b by denominator square cz plus d whole square. And then simplifying the numerator, we'll get dw by dz is equal to ad minus bc by cz plus d whole square. So by the definition of bilinear transformation, we will get ad minus bc is not equal to 0. It implies d is not equal to 0. That means when numerator is not equal to 0, this derivative dw by dz is not equal to 0. So when dw by dz is not equal to 0, we say the transformation, the bilinear transformation, w is conformal. What is the condition to say the bilinear transformation is conformal? Its derivative must be not equal to 0. Derivative must be To the bilinear transformation is conformal, its derivative must be not equal to 0. In another words, AD minus BC is not equal to 0. So in place of dw by dz not equal to 0, you can take AD minus BC not equal to 0. Based on this condition, AD minus BC is not equal to 0. AD minus BC is not equal to 0. We can say the bilinear transformation is conformal. Next, another definition is invariant points. When do we say one point is invariant? If a point Z maps onto itself, when Z is mapped to Z, then we say the point Z is called invariant points. Okay. To find these invariant points, we simply take the transformation W is equal to Z. So if a point Z maps onto itself, that is W is equal to Z under the bilinear transformation, then the point Z is called an invariant point. Z maps onto itself means how can it maps without mediator, without transforming function? It cannot map. To map something to something, we need some transformation. We need some mediator. That is the bilinear transformation here, W. So to say this Z is invariant point, it must map onto itself with the help of bilinear transformation W. So that is W is equal to Z. So I will explain how to find invariant points through one problem. Okay, but you remember to say the point Z is invariant if it maps onto itself under the bilinear transformation. Okay, once again I'll recall the same definition when we start to find the invariant points. Okay, now the important definition to find the bilinear transformation is cross ratio. Cross ratio is one definition. If W1, W2, W3 and W4 are points in extended complex plane, that means these four are the 4 points in one complex plane. Then its cross ratio is denoted by within brackets W1, W2, W3, W4. And it is defined as cross ratio W, W1, W2, W3, W4 equal to the ratio numerator is W1 minus W2 into W3 minus W4 by W4 minus W1 into W2 minus W2. Easily you can remember this ratio with the help of this picture. See, first you write all the 4 points generally, that is W1, W2, W3, W4. In the next line, you start with W4. W4 after W1, then W2, then W3. In first numerator, we take W1 minus W2 and then W3 minus W4, product of these two. In denominator, W4 minus W1, W2 minus W2, W2 minus W3. So the ratio of this is a cross ratio of the points W1, W2, W3, W4. How can you denote the cross ratio of 4 points within the brackets? That is equal to W1 minus W2 into W3 minus W4 by W3 minus W4 minus W1 into W2 minus W3. Based on this cross ratio definition, we have important theorem that is here. Once you check it up. If Z1, Z2, Z3 and Z4 are points in Z plane and their corresponding images in the W plane are W1, W2, W3, W4 under a bilinear transformation. Okay, here Z1 transformed to W1, Z2 transformed to W2, Z3 transformed to W3, Z4 transformed to W4. How these transformed? With the help of bilinear transformation. Then their cross ratios are equal. This theorem says when four set of points Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4 in Z plane transformed to another four set of points in W plane, that is W1, W2, W3, W4 under a bilinear transformation, then their cross ratios are equal. Then their cross ratios are equal. Equationally, mathematically, we can denote that cross ratios equality like this. Cross ratio Z1, Z2, Z3, Z4, which is equal to cross ratio W1, W2, W3, W4. So already you have that definition of cross ratio of these 4 points, that is Z1 minus Z2 into Z3 minus Z4 by Z4 minus Z2 into Z2 minus Z3, which is equal to W1 minus W2 into W3 minus W4 by W4 minus W1 into W2 minus W3. So using this equality, we can easily find bilinear transformation when the points, four set of points in Z plane transform to another four set of points in W plane. This is very important result. In every problem, we use this cross ratio property. So remember this. Already I explained how to remember based on the logic represented here by taking all the points like W1, W2, W3, W4 in the next line. To get the factors in denominator, you should write W4, W1, W2, W3. With the help of this figure, you can easily write that cross ratio. No need to by heart it. So, but you should remember this formula to find the bilinear transformation. Okay, next one more result. Suppose if 3 points, say Z1, Z2, Z3 in Z plane, transform to another 3 points, say W1, W2, W3 in W plane. Under the bilinear transformation, we will write the cross ratio like this. Z1 minus Z2 into Z3 minus, we don't have Z4 here, so I assumed it as Z by here Z4 minus Z1, but Z4 you don't have, that's why it will be Z. Z minus Z1 into Z2 minus Z3 is equal to W1 minus W2 into W3 minus W4 W by W minus W1 into W2 minus W3. These two formulas are helpful to find the bilinear transformation when 4 points in Z plane transform to 4 points in W plane, or 3 points in Z plane transform to some other 3 points in W plane under bilinear transformation. So now take one problem, then it will be very easy to understand this theory and all. Okay, ma. Now find the bilinear transformation. It maps lines. Z is equal to 1 I minus 1 into W is equal to I 0 minus I and minus I. Again, one more question here. Under this transformation, find the image of mod Z less than 1. Okay. So what is our question? Find the bilinear transformation. What is the bilinear transformation? W is equal to, once I will show you that bilinear transformation, then it will be clear to you all. That is the basic definition here. Yes. W is equal to AZ plus B by CZ plus D. CZ plus D. This is called bilinear transformation. We should find now this transformation. For finding W is equal to AZ plus B by CZ plus D, they have given some information to us. What is that information? Here, Z points, 3 points, 1, I, minus 1. Transform it to W is equal to I, 0, minus I. Hello? Hello? Now, is it clear, ma? Can I talk loudly? Once you send a message, okay, Ra. Yes, I will continue now. Okay, I will talk some loudly. Okay. Yes. Here, 3 points in Z plane transform to some other 3 points in W plane. Before going to start the problem, everyone has to remember one condition. Here, 1 in Z plane transformed to I in W plane. To take 1 as Z1, we should take I as W1. Next, the second point in Z plane, I. I is transformed to, here I in Z plane, this one transformed to 0 in W plane. So when you take this I as Z2, you should take 0 as W2. W2. Next one, minus 1 in Z plane, the third point, transformed to minus I in W plane. Clear? So when you assume minus 1 as Z3, automatically you have to take minus I as W3 in W plane. So the order must be same. You should take as usual. Don't change the order. Okay. If you change the order, your transformation will be wrong. So 1 I minus 1 transform to I 0 minus I. In every problem, you should be remember before assuming this as Z1, Z2, Z3 and W1, W3. Clear? Yes. So now take Z1 is equal to 1, Z2 is equal to I, Z3 is equal to minus 1. W1 is equal to I, W2 is equal to 0, W3 is equal to minus I. Here we don't have fourth point, Z4 in Z plane, corresponding image in W plane, that is W4. That for convenience, I am assuming W4 as W and Z4 as Z. Okay. Any doubt? Yes. Now, by the result of cross ratio, the required bilinear transformation can be obtained by this equality. So that is Z1 minus Z2, Z3 minus Z by z minus z1 into z2 minus z3 is equal to w1 minus w2 into w3 minus w by w minus w1 into w2 minus w3. Now just substitute the values of z1, z2, z3 and w1, w2, w3. So after substituting the points here, we will get 1 minus I into minus 1 minus z minus 1 minus z minus z11 into z2 minus z3. z2 is I minus of minus 1, that is plus 1, which is equal to, here w1 is I minus 0 into minus I minus w by w minus I into 0 plus I. What is our aim? Our aim is to find bilinear transformation W. So now simplify. In numerator, I took minus common from first factor. That means in 1 minus I. That is minus of I minus 1. In second factor minus 1 minus z, I took minus 1 common. That is minus 1 into z plus 1. Next one, in denominator of LHS, z minus 1 into I plus 1. Is it clear? LHS? It's okay. That is equal to RHS, I into minus 1 minus, minus I minus W. In that one, I took minus common. It will be minus I into W plus I by I into W minus I. So now, numerator I, denominator I gets cancelled in RHS. In LHS, this minus gets cancelled. The rest are I minus 1 into Z plus 1 I minus 1 into Z plus 1 by I plus 1 into Z minus 1. Here I simply interchanged, that is equal to minus of W plus I by W minus I. So simply I rewritten the same step in the denominator by multiplying RHS numerator with minus sign. That's it. So that is I minus 1 into Z plus 1 by I plus 1 into Z minus 1 is equal to minus W minus I by W minus I. See, this is the ratio after substituting and simplifying. But still we need W in terms of Z. That's why we use the basic property, componendo dividendo. What is that property? When you have a ratio like A by B is equal to C by D, this componendo dividendo formula will help us to write that above ratio like this. A minus B by A plus B is equal to C minus D by C plus D. See, once you remember clearly here, you subtracted denominator from numerator in this A minus B. Similarly, in RHS numerator also you should write C minus D. Next, denominator is addition of A and B. RHS denominator also like addition C plus D. Okay, A minus B by A plus B. Numerator minus denominator by numerator plus denominator is equal to numerator minus denominator by numerator plus denominator. That is the rule of componendo dividendo. It will help to simplify the ratios. Here also to find W, we are using componendo dividendo rule. So now here numerator, once you coming to this. So in the selected box of first equation is the ratio like A by B is equal to C by D. For this ratio, I am applying componendo dividendo rule. When you apply this rule, your ratio is equivalent to I minus 1 z plus 1 minus the denominator I plus 1 z minus 1 by again numerator I minus 1 z plus 1 plus I plus 1 z minus 1, which is equal to RHS. RHS numerator minus W minus I minus the denominator W minus I. Here minus of W minus I is minus W plus I by minus W minus I plus W minus I. Simplifying this, you will get, after simplifying that, we will get this equation, that is 2 into I minus Z by 2 into IZ minus 1, which is equal to W by I. But we need only W, right? That's why I'm sending I to left side. So when you send I to left side, it will be multiply the numerator I minus Z. So that is I square minus IZ by denominator IZ minus 1. That is equal to W. But what is I square? Minus 1. I written here. W is equal to W is equal to minus 1 minus IZ by IZ minus 1. That is equal to, taking minus common from numerator and denominator, it will be minus of 1 plus IZ by minus of 1 minus IZ. That is equal to 1 plus IZ by 1 minus IZ. So W is equal to 1 plus IZ by 1 minus IZ, which is the required bilinear transformation. So now one more question is there in first. We have to find the image of mod z less than 1. What is the question? Another one. Mod z less than 1. So to find this image, you need z. Okay. But once you observe the equation 1 is w in terms of z. But to use this image, mod z is equal to mod z less than 1, you need z value, z alone. For that, I am changing that bilinear transformation, which we found. W is that bilinear transformation is W is equal to 1 plus Iz by 1 minus Iz. Cross multiplying W into 1 minus Iz equals to 1 plus Iz. That is W minus IWZ is equal to 1 plus Iz. Separating W terms and Z terms, we'll get W minus 1 is equal to Iz into 1 plus W. So we need Z. That's why Z is equal to 1 by I into W minus 1 by W plus 1. Now take the image. What is that image? Mod Z less than 1. Okay. So, but Z, what we found here? That Z is 1 by I into W minus 1 by W plus 1. So substituting here, we will get mod of 1 by I into W minus 1 by W plus 1 less than 1. Simply I substituted Z here. So from this is modulus of Z1 numerator by denominator. So modulus of numerator by modulus of denominator. When you send the denominator to right side, it will be mod W minus 1 less than modulus of I into W plus 1. So what is W general form? U plus I. So here W general form is U plus IV. minus 1 as usual I written here, less than modulus I. See, in right side I explained here, mod I is equal to mod 0 plus I into 1. It is like x plus iy. Modulus of z is square root of real part square plus imaginary part square. Real part is 0, imaginary part is 1. So 0 square plus 1 square, that is equal to under root 1. So mod I is equal to 1. So here, coming to this second line again, RHS modulus of I is 1. It will be 1 into W plus 1. W is U plus IB plus 1. Now, coming to the third line, U minus 1 plus IV modulus less than modulus U plus 1 plus IV. Again, LHS is like modulus of real part plus imaginary part. Again, using the formula, modulus of x plus iy is square root of x square plus y square. Here it is square root of x real part, that is u minus 1 whole square plus v square, less than square root of u plus 1 whole square plus v square. Squaring on both sides, it will be u minus 1 whole square plus v square, less than u plus 1 whole square plus v square. Cancelling v square on both sides and expanding u minus 1 whole square will be u square plus 1 minus 2u less than u square plus 1 plus 2u. Both sides u square and 1 gets cancelled. The rest are minus 2u less than 2u. 2 gets cancelled. Sending this minus u to right side, that means adding u on both sides. 0 less than 2u. So constant will not be 0. So this gives u greater than 0. So this is u greater than 0. This is the image of mod z less than 1. Okay, any doubt, Ra?